This is from the RTL SDR website, and it came up in the About SDR page, and I clicked on it. I think it was the list of different frequency bands available for scanning, and it was the one that related to DMR. So now I'm back up my computer, and I can't remember exactly what I clicked on. RTL SDR tutorial, decoding digital voice, B25 DMR and NXDN D-Star with DSD. Very jargony, but I guess maybe it has to be that way. Sometimes almost have to look up these things on Wikipedia to understand these separately. The RTL SDR software-defined radio combined with SDR Sharp and a program called Digital Speech Decoder can be used as a radio scanner to easily and cheaply listen to unencrypted digital radio voice conversations. Digital radio voice communications are becoming more commonly used in the radio spectrum. This is due to the various improvements offered over traditional analog voice radio systems. Unfortunately, for radio scanner hobbyists, digital radio is difficult to receive, as special radio scanners, which can be expensive, are required to decode the digital signal. Additionally, digital radio systems can be encrypted, making it impossible for communications to be decoded by a hobbyist. However, most users of digital radio do not bother to encrypt their systems, as it can introduce lag, monetary expense, and extra battery drain in portable radios. The most common digital speech codec is APCO P25, which DSD is able to decode. DSD is also capable of decoding other common digital codecs such as DMR, Mototurbo, NXDN, D-Star, and ProVoice. Super cheap software-defined radios such as the RTL SDR can be used to decode these digital voice communication signals instead of expensive radio scanners. While this tutorial is aimed at the RTL SDR, other software radios such as the FunCube dongle, AirSpy, HackRF, and Blade RF will also work. Hardware radios and discriminator taps connected to a PC may also work. Examples of DSD decoding digital voice with RTL SDR as a radio scanner. YouTube user Jeff Wolf shows a video where he uses RTL SDR as a police scanner to listen to public safety P25 digital radio using DSD, SDR Sharp, and virtual audio cable.
Hunter is saying that they were sparking earlier. You wanted to kill the power for safety?
Anyway, that's pretty fascinating. I'd almost like to watch these videos separate. Okay, YouTube user Superfish uses RTL SDR as a radio scanner to decode Mototurbo, digital voice of a taxi company using DSD, SDR Sharp, and virtual audio cable.
Peter Mark was saying that box for him apparently was picked up at 9:30 this morning.
It's interesting that there's a similar style to these videos where neither of the YouTubers are actually narrating or explaining what they're even doing. Here, YouTube user Superfish uses RTL SDR to decode D-Star conversations using DSD 1.7, HD SDR, and virtual audio cable.
ID51. I've had it on since the last 3 weeks ago, and
that sounds great. Tutorial decoding digital voice using SDR Sharp, DSD, and RTL SDR for Windows. It is assumed you have an RTL SDR dongle set up and working with SDR Sharp. If not, see the My RTL SDR and Quick Start pages first before attempting this tutorial. There are two different versions of DSD that need to be mentioned. There is DSD 1.7, which is open source software that is under active development, and there is DSD Plus, which is closed source software. DSD Plus has vastly superior decoding, especially for weak signals, but it cannot yet decode D-Star. but it cannot yet decode D-Star. DSD 1.7 has poorer decoding, but it is capable of decoding D-Star. To download each version of DSD, see the links below. Once downloaded, extract the contents zip file to a folder on your PC. Compilation instructions and a binary download of DSD 1.7 can be found on this post. Note that the binary download is at the end of the post. Downloads of the latest DSD Plus version can be obtained from dsdplus.com. To install it, download both the latest DSD Plus and DSD Plus DLL zip files. Extract both zip files into the same folder. Next, you will need an audio piping utility such as the paid version of Virtual Audio Cable or the free VB cable. Also ensure Virtual Audio Cable or VB cable is set as the default recording audio device in Windows Sound Properties, as DSD will use the default sound device. If you are unfamiliar with what a digital voice signal may look like, two waterfall examples are shown below with audio examples recorded in NFM mode. These don't seem to work. So DMR, Mototurbo, D-Star, this one works. Now to decode the digital voice signals, follow these instructions. Open SDR Sharp and set the audio output to Virtual Audio Cable or VB cable. Set the receive mode to NFM with a bandwidth of about 12.5 kHz. Tune to a digital voice signal frequency. You will need to Google for these frequencies by your location. The radio reference databases may be a good place to start looking for these frequencies. Most digital voice frequencies for many countries will be around 460 MHz or 850 to 900 MHz. D-Star frequencies are usually at around 145.670 MHz. To use DSD 1.7 for D-Star, open a command prompt from Start, All Programs, Accessories, Command Prompt, and navigate to the folder where DSD 1.7 is located. For those who are not familiar with the command prompt, use the CD command to change directories within command prompt. For example, if your DSD 1.7 folder is located here, you would type in command prompt and that. Now type in command prompt. This will use the default sound device set in Windows Recording Property. To use DSD Plus, simply double-click on the dsdplus.exe executable and the GUI will open up. At this point, text should be scrolling through the command prompt window when a digital signal is broadcasting. Whenever someone speaks into the radio, you should see the words voice in the window and hear voice. DSD Plus can also be used to decode LRRP signals from Motorola, Mototurbo/DMR radio signals. Some Motorola radio broadcast GPS coordinates every few minutes or on request. This is useful for tracking a fleet of vehicles, for instance. To show decoded LRRP coordinates on a map when using DSD Plus, simply open lrrp.exe. Note the many LRRP radio users use a third-party GPS software system which cannot be decoded by DSD Plus. If you do not see any coordinates in the DSD Plus event log when an LRRP event occurs, this may be the case. To get good decodes for most sound cards, the volume settings in SDR Sharp and Windows should be played with until decoding begins to improve. To stop DSD, simply press Ctrl and C at the command prompt while it is running. Some tips. If you don't know what P25, Mototurbo, ProVoice, or any digital voice signals sound like, this page has some more example audio files. You can simply manually scan through the various signals and see if DSD starts scrolling text to see if a signal is supported. DSD will start attempting to decode immediately. Note, however, that DSD will also scroll text on trunking channels, but will not be able to decode them. See the next section for information on decoding trunking channels. A strong signal is required for DSD to decode audio as well. You are using a good antenna and have set the RTL SDR gain correctly. DSD will listen to the default Windows sound recording device. Make sure virtual audio cable or VB cable is set as the default device. No text will be scrolling within DSD if the wrong audio device is used. Stereo mix can be used, but you will be hearing both the digital signal as well as the decoded voice at the same time. Also, the decoded voice audio will be pumped back into DSD, causing a detrimental feedback loop. DSD is software in development and may not perform as well as a commercial digital radio or advanced digital radio scanning. We can set up a digital trunking radio scanner using these tools. 2 RTL SDR dongles and other piece of software called UniTrunker. See our UniTrunker trunking tutorial for information on setting this up.